Hey guys, and welcome to Cool Vision. In this video we're going to visit Shanghai. Welcome to Shanghai, guys. This is the third most populous city in the world and the most populous city in China with a population of 26 million. Shanghai is located on China's central coast, bounded to the east by the East China Sea, on the southern estuary of the Yangtze River with the Huangpu River flowing through it. The city's area is 6,341 square kilometers, so it's almost 3 times larger than Moscow and 4 times larger than London. Today, it's the business capital of China with a GDP of $670 billion, the highest among Chinese cities. And it also has the world's busiest container port, the Port of Shanghai. So, let's explore the city, meet locals, try delicious food, and find out why some girls wouldn't go on a date with you if you're not from 310 area. If you arrive at Shanghai Pudong International Airport, you can take a maglev train directly to the city.
The maglev train, thank you very much. Wow. Stepping inside.
It's a magnetic levitation train, which means it floats on magnets. Prior to May 2021, the cruising speed was an astonishing 431 kilometers per hour. But now, unfortunately, they slowed it down to 300 kilometers an hour, which is still pretty impressive. It costs 50 renminbi and takes 8 minutes from the airport to the city. Very convenient and entertaining. The most popular area in the city is the city's historic waterfront area, the Bund, also known as Waitan.
And actually, the Bund from Mandarin means embankment.
There's so much Western influence, there's even a charging bull just like the one on Wall Street in New York. Grab him by the horns. Once the financial heart of the city, today the Bund is home to high-end restaurants and hotels and a number of 1920s era buildings, including the Art Deco Peace Hotel, completed in 1929. Another famous building is the neoclassical HSBC building.
And it served as the branch of HSBC, which actually stands for Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation.
Other famous buildings include the Customs House, Chartered Bank Building, the North China Daily News Building, and so many more.
Most of these buildings were built in the 19th and the early 20th century by European powers.
As you can tell, there is a significant European influence. Why is that? Foreign powers, mostly Britain, had been illegally exporting opium from India to China since the 18th century. China wanted to stop the opium trade because it was bringing nothing but social and economic problems to the country, like the widespread addiction. But China lost the opium wars and was forced to open dozens of cities to Western traders. Thus, Shanghai from 1860s to the 1930s was basically split into a Chinese half and a European-styled Western half, a rich and powerful center of the foreign establishment, operating as a legally protected treaty port. The Huangpu River divides the metropolis into 2 parts. Pudong, that is the east side, and Puxi, that is the west side. There are 3 ways to cross the river. The first one is to take a ferry. The second one is to go by car or a bus. And the last one is taking the Bund sightseeing tunnel. Of course, this one is mostly for tourists, and it costs 50 renminbi one way. On the opposite side from the Bund, you will find Lujiazui. It's a peninsula formed by a bend of the river that was nothing but villages and warehouses some 30 years ago. But since the 1990s, Lujiazui was turned into the new financial district of Shanghai, thanks to the economic reforms initiated by leader Deng Xiaoping. Today, they call it the Chinese Wall Street. 500,000 people work in Lujiazui with an average age of 29.5 years, 70% of whom have a master's degree or higher. Today, Lujiazui is Shanghai's glitzy financial district, home to the Shanghai Stock Exchange, first free trade zone in mainland China, Shanghai Aquarium, fancy malls, stylish bars with panoramic views, and a cluster of super tall futuristic skyscrapers like the pink, rocket-like Oriental Pearl TV Tower. This tower has 15 observatory levels. There's also a revolving restaurant at the 267 meters level. Another super tall skyscraper is the Jinmao Tower, 420 meters tall. The Shanghai World Financial Center, 492 meters, nicknamed the bottle opener because it kind of looks like a bottle opener. And finally, Shanghai Tower. This is the tallest building in China and the 3rd tallest in the world, 632 meters. I decided to visit the observation deck at Shanghai Tower, obviously, which offers spectacular views across the city. Besides being the tallest building in China, Shanghai Tower also has the world's fastest elevator, which used to travel at the speed of 20.5 meters per second. but now they had to slow it down to 10 meters per second because some people would literally bleed from the nose by the time they reached the top. Outside, I saw some guys with a drone, and I wanted to talk to them. Flying a drone in Shanghai is impossible without a license.
Can I ask you what you guys do?
So now we are do the building inspection. So you can see the pilot and the pilot. Yeah.
Turned out they're a drone inspection company. They hooked me up with some amazing shots in exchange for some renminbi. The city is huge. Luckily, Shanghai Metro is also very huge. It is the longest subway system in the world. 508 stations, 826 kilometers in length. It's twice the length of New York City subway.
Subways are just so clean, so nice. You guys believe we're inside the subway?
But it's very easy to use, and the trains are always on time. Look.
See, the train is coming, and in 12 seconds the doors will open. 4, 3, 1, yes, and the door is open.
You can buy a travel card and top it up, or better yet, set up an Alipay account and pay with your phone by scanning a QR code. So convenient. Also, Alipay will help you use the local Uber called Didi, which is much cheaper than conventional taxis. If you're choosing a hotel, I think anything online too is a great choice. This line goes straight through the city and it's easy to get everywhere.
You hear it? Cool Vision is in town. Downtown Shanghai, Wukong Road. You want to meet us? Come here.
Now, let's meet my friends, Henry and Kunal. Henry is a local guy and Kunal is from India, but he's worked in Shanghai for 7 years now. Both have lived in the US and both now work for Nike. Henry wanted to take us around his favorite places in the city, and we started with the former French concession. What is the French concession? In the 1800s, after a prolonged struggle with imperialist powers, China was forced to allow foreigners to take possession of designated areas in Shanghai, called concessions. The French concession existed between 1849 to 1946 and consisted of upscale residential and retail districts, and was also the center of Catholicism. Today, the French concession is an area that is popular with tourists and expats, and you can wander around for hours without feeling like you're in a bustling Asian metropolis. Wukong Road has the highest density of historic villas.
So this is the Wukong building. It was originally built in 1924, so exactly 100 years from now. Yeah, used to be called a Normandy apartment. When that time, like I mentioned, there's a lot of foreigners, people from France, British, they come in here, and then they used to be lived here.
Henry wanted us to try some local delicacies, and we had a fantastic lunch at the Rose Restaurant. One thing you have to know about Shanghainese cuisine is that it's sweet.
Wow, the chandelier is so impressive. Wow, look at that. I'm going to the first floor. Ni hao. Oh, it's a busy place. So first dish in sweet and sour pork.
You'll find it tastes very similar to sweet and sour chicken in US. And this one is a radish, but they make it in a very, very complicated way. So chicken sauce, 白叶包, kind of like a tofu, but they mix the vegetables and this tofu skin together. So also the one I really like, yeah. And the president beef, to be honest, my first time trying this. I don't know why they call it president beef, but we'll try and see how. And shrimp with crab meat, also another very classical Shanghai cuisine. So almost every person come here, I would recommend, and you will find it very tasty. And the last one I would like to introduce. This one I believe originally from Suzhou, but Suzhou is very close to Shanghai, so that's why also makes part of the Shanghai dish, the squirrel Mandarin fish, 松鼠桂鱼 in Chinese. But why most foreigners like this is because they make it boneless. Most fish in China cooked are with some original fish head, fish bones, but this one, no. So you don't need to worry about that. All you need to do is just to cut it and then have a very good taste. So this is for love.
Okay, thank you.
The check came to over $200. Yes, Shanghai can be pretty expensive. Henry and Kunal told me a lot about the local realities. Apparently, when you try to invite a girl on a date, she will ask you if your area code is 310, the first 3 digits of the ID number for people born in Shanghai.
If you're not Shanghainese, the remaining Shanghainese will not accept you, especially in the terms of finding a partner.
Finding a partner, but
So
we could be friends, being colleagues. That's all fine. Yeah,
Other things are fine, but finding a partner.
They start to ask you this question first. Are you 310? Do you own a house? Something like that. If no, we don't need to go out even for a date.
Still mention, if you're not 310, don't contact me.
Speaking of girls, and are you guys students?
Yeah. 刚毕业怎么说
just graduated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Graduated.
What did you guys study?
Dance major. Our major is
All of you?
dance. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And tell me, what do you like about Shanghai?
可以讲中文没关系，我可以
就很松弛的那种感觉，
松弛
然后
The environment makes you feel relaxed.
yeah，
So since you learned to dance, can you show something?
收拾。
既然你们是学跳舞的，可以表演一下吗？
好羡慕。
It's funny how my heart is wired. It doesn't make any sense to me. But who am I?
Wow! Shanghainese move fast and stay caffeinated. The city reportedly has more coffee shops than London, New York, or Tokyo. Shanghai is now home to over 8,000 coffee shops, so we had to have some local coffee. The place we went to was called Into the Forest, and they had amazing coffee. And what surprised me is that they had edible cups. You can drink the coffee and eat the cup afterwards. No waste.
Have you guys ever seen edible cups?
This one. 5K, as you can
Wow.
tell.
Are you that hungry?
It tastes like a cookie, like
Yeah.
biscuit or
Yes,
something.
yes.
Then we decided to go cycling around the neighborhood. For locals, it's extremely affordable because you can get a monthly subscription for $3.
All right. I'm following you, okay?
It's so enjoyable, just cycle or walk along the tree-lined streets with an array of bars, cafes, restaurants, and boutiques. Feel the real character of Shanghai, and it becomes clear why this is seen as the most livable city in China.
I'm riding a bicycle in downtown Shanghai, and that's the best means of transportation you can find. You know, no traffic jams, go from one place to another, and it's very, very affordable.
After that, we took a taxi to another trendy neighborhood, and I got a chance to talk to the taxi driver, with Henry being my translator.
Yeah. Let's interview him. Yeah, absolutely.
What does he like about Shanghai?
你喜欢上海的什么？
有什么好喜欢的？
What you like?
How much money can you make as a taxi driver?
钱嘛挣不到，对吧？开销嘛大。
He
收
said
成
like,
比例
you can make too much money, but the expensive is really high. Yeah.
6、7千、7、8千。
6 to 7K RMB a month.
Okay. Does he want to live in Shanghai forever, or he wants to move somewhere else?
像我们这把年纪嘛，只能待在上海，对吧？退了休嘛，就是回家了。
Yeah, he's kind of joking about his age. He said he's already old enough to move to around. That's why maybe probably just stay in Shanghai. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood we've come to is called Xintiandi. So you guys see the Starbucks is in a shikumen, which is a traditional house for Shanghai. It's traditional Shanghai architecture from the 19th century, and it's like a stone buildings, and you will see them in many parts of the city. Unfortunately, many of them have been demolished over the years, but some of them are still preserved as part of the cultural heritage, and they're so wonderful. Once this area used to be a block of old shikumen buildings. What is a shikumen? Loosely translated, it means a stone gate. So this is what they call shikumens, right?
Yeah.
It's a good representation of the 19th century architecture that was so ubiquitous in Shanghai back then. All these narrow alleys, and it's so fun exploring them. Yeah. These shikumen houses began appearing in Shanghai's British concession in the 1850s and 60s. But now this neighborhood has been turned into one of Shanghai's most fashionable areas filled with restaurants, shops, and bars.
This place is popular at night because there are plenty of bars and young people love to hang out, right? Whoa, I see it's lots of fun already starting.
Surprisingly, this area is also the birthplace of Chinese Communist Party. How ironic that one of China's most important communist sites is located alongside one of its most expensive shopping and eating areas. There's even a name confusion. If you look at the name of the subway station, it has a double name. We visited the site of the First National Congress of the Communist Party of China. It's a small museum located where the people who started the Chinese Communist Party first met to plan its creation. You'll learn about the Chinese history and revolutionary age and the modern PRC. As a Russian, I was surprised to find so many documents in Russian language. That's because the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia played a huge part in spreading communist ideas in China. Nice museum, biased of course, but those who can read between the lines will find it interesting. Speaking of interesting.
Okay guys, I'm in Moscow all of a sudden. But no, I'm still in Shanghai, and this building is called Shanghai Exhibition Center. And it's built in the Stalinist neoclassical style. And it was completed in 1955 to commemorate the friendship between the Soviet Union and the Communist China. And in the background, you see all those skyscrapers, and they look like Moscow City. So lots of resemblances. I bet I can trick some people into thinking I'm in Moscow.
Most architecture in Shanghai is very modern. That's because buildings have a 40 or 70-year lease from the government. Most of the times they will not renew the lease and build something new instead. If you need a break from all the hustle and bustle of the city, I have an incredibly peaceful and beautiful place for you. It's called Yew Garden.
Welcome to the Garden of Happiness. It was built all the way in 1559 during the Ming Dynasty.
Yew Garden reflects Jinggan Garden architecture. It was built by Pan Yunduan, a government officer who built it for his father as he was approaching old age. This garden has over 40 scenic spots, including pavilions, rock formations, and ponds. A centerpiece is the exquisite jade rock, a porous 5-ton boulder. When you step out of the garden, you'll find yourself in a bustling marketplace set, Yuyuan Bazaar, in an old neighborhood with traditional architecture and shops selling everything from dumplings to Chinese souvenirs. It's always super crowded. The city has many other beautiful parks like Shanghai Botanical Garden. It's the biggest municipal botanical garden in China.
I don't know about you guys, but I love visiting botanical gardens because they show you the variety of the vegetation that's specific to this area, and this one has really good reviews, so.
It has a large collection of thousands of plants, including some rare species. It was almost empty on that day because it was 37 outside, so yeah.
These cicadas are so loud. And I'm actually, look at me, I'm sweating. Because it's 37 outside, okay?
Century Park is another wonderful park. It's the largest park of the city. I was staying at Dorset Shanghai Hotel, and this is the view that I had from my room. Pretty good. Century Park is great for jogging or walking. You will find people doing Tai Chi in the morning. There's also a great track around 5 kilometers, which goes around the park, and it's busy with runners and joggers at all times of the day. Another cool park is People's Square Park. But what makes it really unique is the marriage market. Yes, a marriage market. Parents, sometimes even grandparents, who have the anxiety of their unmarried offspring come here to trade information on their children and find a perfect match.
They come here to kind of advertise and find a partner for their kids, and they advertise their children by stating which college they went to, their height, their age, and just basic information about them. And if the other party's interested, that's how they match and maybe form families.
It never hurts to learn a little bit of Mandarin.
对不起，你们上海人？
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi.
You can speak English. You can speak English.
People's Square is the largest square in the city, and it's close to the park. It's surrounded by buildings like the Shanghai Municipal Government, the Shanghai Museum, and many others. In the past, it used to be a horse racing course. The main shopping district of Shanghai is the East Nanjing Road.
Nanjing Donglu in Chinese. So this place is like the commercial center of Shanghai. So many stores, shopping malls, everything, and it's always crowded.
It is the world's longest shopping district, around 5.5 kilometers long, and it attracts over 1 million visitors a day. It's a street filled with shops, eateries, and lovely restaurants tucked away from above the street level.
Hello guys.
Hello, guys. What's your name?
My name is Xu Wenying, and
My name is Tiki.
okay, my English name is Evan. Okay, and she's
Evan,
my
Tiki.
girlfriend. I'm studying in Tongji University, and my major is aircraft manufacturing engineering. So you know what to.
That's impressive.
So it's very hard. It's maybe I'm not that smart, and it's really hard for me.
It's really impressive.
So you can.
What are you doing?
Comedy 喜剧.
Comedy.
Oh, comedy.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
like-
very interesting.
What do you want to do when you graduate?
I can. I don't think that kind of question read very clearly now.
Okay, so you'll see later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say later.
谢谢你.
Okay.
Okay. What's that mean?
I don't know. What's the meaning of the seasoning?
谢谢你，
Oh,
谢谢你。
谢-
Okay.
Got it. Got it.
I'm so bad. How do you say it? How do you?
谢谢你.
谢谢。
谢谢你.
谢谢你. Yeah.
谢谢你. Okay, I'll improve my Chinese. Okay.
If you want to shop for some jewelry, clothing, or electronic gadgets, that's the place to be. You'll find all the major designers and manufacturers. This road leads to the Bund, so expect a wave of other people to accompany you, but don't worry, there are police officers to direct pedestrian traffic.
Okay, in a situation like this, you have to regulate traffic because otherwise these cars would have no chance. See that crowd? And this is my crowd, okay? We're going in different directions. See, that crowd is going this way. We're going this way.
West Nanjing Road is different. It's not so crowded and it's more upscale with luxe residential high-rises and trendy nightlife. It's like North Michigan Avenue in Chicago or the Fifth Avenue in New York City.
你吃饭了吗？
我没吃饭，我来找你吃饭。
Henry and I went to a popular local restaurant. Let's see what we had for dinner.
If you see the QR code, it's on every table, and just say scan, and I open my WeChat. You see this picture, you like this food, you just click this button, and then it's on the way. These are xiaolongbao, also a very famous traditional like Shanghai style food.
Okay.
So there's a soup inside it, pork and a soup inside it. So you notice very full, so there's soup inside it. We dip a little bit of vinegar to suck the soup.
the soup, okay.
Oh, you see the soup is coming outside. So, but sometimes if you don't be careful, it might be too hot to eat. So yeah. This
I
is
believe
the
we have
chicken
some
feet.
chicken feet.
Chicken
Wow.
feet. Yeah.
So in my country, we don't really eat them, but why not? Why not? Very nice, very juicy.
Yeah. This in Chinese called 肠粉.
Cuttlefish and urchin. Okay. Let's add some vinegar.
Sure.
That's rich flavor. Very good seafood.
We stir it first, just to make sure everybody gets a fair piece. And when kids are sick, parents will ask you to eat kangi. It's like it's like a healthy way to get some food and energy.
So this one's called mango pomelo sago, and it originates from Hong Kong.
It's excellent. It feels so fresh, like I'm eating real fruit.
So in US, when I would study abroad, notice people love to hang out, have parties, make some noise. But here, in China or in Shanghai, in a working day night like here, people love to just sit here together, order some delicacy, delicious food, and also very important, have a tea to chat and to talk. And although now it's almost 8 p.m. here, in a working day, as you can see, there are still so many people in this restaurant. Maybe people have just already finished their dinner, but they just love to sit here, have some tea chat, and this makes people feel relaxing.
And you can sit here for like a long time.
Yeah. As long as there's tea.
Like 2 or 3 hours, right?
Yeah. Quite normal.
After this wonderful dinner, we decided to go for a walk and enjoy this beautiful evening.
When the sun sets, it's the perfect time to go on a river cruise on Huanpu.
You can take a fancy cruise with a dinner like this dragon ship, or just go for a basic one for 150 renminbi. To get to the upper deck and get a better view is another 100 renminbi.
This has got to be one of the most impressive skylines I've ever seen.
It's incredible. On one side, you see the modern skyscrapers of Lujiazui, and on the other, the historical, neoclassical, and Art Deco buildings from the 1920s. So captivating. Alright, back to the Bund. Wow, just look at the cars. No wonder Shanghai is the wealthiest city in China. See this coffee shop? Luckin Coffee is a Chinese coffee company that was founded in 2017. It now manages over 9,300 stores, and it surpassed Starbucks by the number of stores in China. The Bund is so busy. I've never seen crowds like that. That's what happens when you find yourself in a city of 26 million people. I decided to visit one of the local restaurants.
I got some spicy beef. Plum juice. It's very sour, very fresh. I love it. And I did not expect this. I ordered just a sour and spicy soup, but they brought me a whole bucket. There's no way I can finish that. This portion is huge.
If you get the impression that there's too much food in this video, you gotta understand that life revolves around food in China. They even say, "Have you eaten?" instead of "How are you?" There are so many showrooms of local car manufacturers. Some cars look super modern. Of course, they're all electric. By the way, it pays to have an electric car in Shanghai. You pay nothing for a green license plate. But for a regular one, that is, a blue plate, it's somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000 just for the plate. Did you know that Shanghainese dialect is unique from Mandarin Chinese? Let's ask Henry.
So Henry, I have a question. I've heard that people in Shanghai have a specific accent. Is that true?
Kind of. Some people can just judge where you're from by hearing to your accent. So that's amazing, yeah.
Can you give me a couple of examples how it's different from, say, the language in Beijing?
Beijing is like a R. Let me try my best, okay? 你今天做三蹦子了吗? Kind of. Even we call some same thing with a different name. So, like a grandpa, they say it 姥姥, 老爷, yeah. But here we say 外公外婆, so that's kind of different.
What about Cantonese? You speak Cantonese? You understand Cantonese?
Not really. Not really. Yeah, but they also have some accent. I can sometimes tell. Yeah. Okay. 谢谢你啦.
If you have enough time, you can take a trip to Lujiazui, Asian town. Heads up, it's pretty far away. It took me 1 hour and 40 minutes by subway. If you go by Didi, it's going to take you about an hour.
We are in Lujiazui, and it's a small town on the outskirts of Shanghai. It's very beautiful, so picturesque. It has a lot of waterways and 36 stone bridges, and you can get a boat ride to enjoy a fantastic evening on the water. Of course, it's a tourist town. There's lots of restaurants, cafes, and whatnot.
It's a nice chill place, no traffic, no motorcycles, and you can spend half a day trying local food and taking pictures. I guess you can call it the Venice of Shanghai. but I felt like it was a little bit touristy and overcrowded. I can only imagine what it's going to be like during the weekend. Unfortunately, the staff at many boat places did not speak English and were not very helpful or friendly.
Got off work. Any other place? No?
Shanghai is not short on museums, but if you have to choose one, go for Shanghai Museum.
It has a comprehensive collection of Chinese artifacts from the ancient times to the modern times. But there's a trick. Even though no ticket is required, you gotta book it in advance and you gotta have a reservation, which I don't. And I only have 2 days left in Shanghai and everything's been booked.
So I went to Shanghai Natural History Museum instead. It's a great museum, but it was crazy crowded though, which I think is often the case in China. I particularly enjoy dinosaurs and many animals of the past, especially the gigantic, extinct animals.
Can you imagine a bear of his size?
Like this monster bear or the saber-toothed tiger.
Now that's a good kitty.
Of course, you cannot visit Shanghai without visiting its wonderful temples, like Jade Buddha Temple. It was founded in 1882 with 2 Jade Buddha statues imported from Myanmar by sea. The temple now also contains a much larger reclining Buddha made of marble, donated from Singapore. Another famous temple is Jing'an Temple. It's located on West Nanjing Road, amongst flashy malls and residential buildings.
And this is the famous Jing'an Temple. And the original one was built in 247 AD. But back then it was located near Suzhou Creek. And in 1216 it was relocated to its current place.
Another famous temple is Longhua Temple. First built in 242 AD, it is the oldest temple in Shanghai and has a long history of over 1700 years.
It has a lot of unique architectural features of that time, like the pointed rooftops and pagodas. Central attraction of the temple is, of course, the 6-tiered pagoda, which rises above the surrounding buildings.
A great place to see China meet in Western culture is the National Cathedral Church of China. It has double spires and it's designed in the Neo-Gothic style, and it was built between 1906 and 1910. The church building was heavily damaged in 1966 at the opening of the Cultural Revolution. Red Guards from Beijing vandalized the cathedral, tearing down the spires and the ceiling. If you decide to travel within the country, best go by train. You can come to Shanghai Hongqiao Railway Station and take a fast-speed train to Beijing. It only takes 4 hours and 30 minutes to cover 1,100 kilometers. The train travels at 350 kilometers an hour. The China's currency is the renminbi, which means people's money, also known as the yuan. Few people bother with cash these days. Most people use WeChat Pay or Alipay. Like I said, it's a good idea to install those apps in your phone and use services such as Didi, that is China's Uber, and bike rental apps. You'll find rows of dockless shared bikes on most streets, and they're a great way to get around town. How much money do you have to make to live comfortably in Shanghai?
If you ask me, 20,000 RMB it's a minimum thing to live comfortably, because the rent would easily run to like 5,000 or more. And you need like 3,000-4,000 something for food and other expenses. If you're not driving, you need like 35. So 35 if you're driving. If you have a house, it goes even higher. It also depends on the area where you are planning to live. So if there are areas like Minhang, Qingpu, those are...
Basically, the closer you get to the downtown of Shanghai, the more expensive you need to spend.
The city feels incredibly safe. Everybody's so polite and humble. Nobody's eating food or jumping the turnstiles in the subway. But my biggest complaint was the motorcycles riding on sidewalks. That just seems so dangerous.
But notice during like downtown, some road, they don't have a lane specific for bicycles because it's so tight and limited. So you see some people have to ride it on the pavement or somewhere else.
See, that's my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
Especially the food delivery guys.
Yes.
They ride like crazy.
They ride crazy.
They can kill you.
They rush time.
I'm worried for my safety, honestly.
Another way, like us, sometimes we get a benefit from them because we can order some food and they will deliver it within 30 minutes for you.
Yeah.
But But I don't like the part they break the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about stereotypes, right? Do Chinese people really smoke a lot? Well, some do and some don't. But the stereotype about Chinese people spitting in public is true. My taxi drivers never hesitated to spit out of the window. I've noticed how many more young people are interested in learning English and practicing English these days.
Hello.
Hello. What are you doing in Shanghai?
My home is in the Shanghai.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Are you a student? You go to school?
Sidong Joy High School.
When you graduate in the future, what do you want to be? What kind of job?
A liar.
A lawyer. Okay. Very nice. Okay.
Or English teacher.
Or English teacher. Yeah, your English is good. Continue learning English.
Okay.
谢谢.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
你会说英文吗?
会啊.
Oh, what's your name?
I'm Bobby. I'm 8 years old. I like to eat chocolate.
You love chocolate.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. 谢谢.
Shanghai is so technologically advanced. I've seen robots delivering food at hotels, robots making ice cream and coffee, and people purchasing drinks from vending machines by scanning their faces. I was visiting in July, and let me tell you, it gets hot in the city. During my stay, it was between 37 and 40 Celsius. Luckily, many places we have to stand in line are air conditioned. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video about Shanghai. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And my next video is going to be about the capital of China, Beijing. Stay tuned.